One of the saddest things that I have heard is how divided high schoolers and middle schools are these days. What happened between the times when we were growing up and what's happening today? What's changed? Our young people, through bad policies and social media, are being taught to put race first. I have listened to politicians who rely on their race to confidently and callously say, we don't have to like everyone. But that's not racism because they're the ones with power. And I guess they're right. We don't have to like everyone. But shouldn't we try? It seems to me that to be a healthy society, we need to look for the good in each other. When I was in high school, I wrote a speech. It was called, Where Do I Belong? As a foster child with no real family and being biracial, I definitely had those questions in my mind. And I felt like people were trying to put me in boxes and say that I had to be this way because I was this. But that's not really how I identified. I identified as myself, an artist, a friend, generally a good human. People would tell me I wasn't the right kind of my race because I didn't talk a certain way or walk a certain way or fit certain stereotypes. And that was hard, but it was also few and far between. Most people simply didn't care. I mean, in the good way. Yes, they knew I was different. Yes, they knew I came from a hard circumstance. But what they focused on was the person that I was. So how did we lose that? Well, we lost it by deciding that it was a good idea to focus on the things that divide us. We lost it by beginning to teach our students to focus on our differences, by teaching a narrative that it is important to return to our tribal roots, the same roots that our grandparents in every culture work to improve. I don't blame the intentions of well-meaning people who simply want to understand where other people are coming from. But in many cases, the proof is there that they're only amplifying division. Where does that leave the individual who is just that? An individual. I've spoken with so many young people who do not understand this push for the justification of hate. I've had students tell me, we didn't care until they forced us to, but mainly they just ask why. Diversity of all types can be beautiful. It adds to the picture of what we call life. But when it's weaponized, it can be a bludgeon. My friends, what has happened before. And the best way to stop this vile segregation in its tracks is return to the principles of our country. We need to once again teach our children why so many people have come here. We need to stop amplifying that America is any more racist than any other country. The US is just that. Us. All of us. Regardless of the narrative, most of us don't care about your skin or your gender or your culture except to find it interesting. Most of us care whether or not a person is a good human being. Teaching our children to hate each other in the name of social justice is still teaching our children to hate, and it's wrong. Our students deserve the legacy that was so hard fought for. They don't need to march in the streets with their fists up in the air because it's already been done for them. What they do need is a culture that fosters dignity, a classroom that teaches every child that they're equal, and a basic moral principle that gratitude is always better than grievance.